Table warming up. Ask any questions if you got any. Your toes, there you go. There we go. 7 balls. It's not bad. Okay. 8-iron is next. Let's see, any questions? 60 degree, it was my 50. Alf's. Will a weaker grip help create a more vertical backswing? Wow, that's a good question. Weaker. I would suppose that's based on your mobility in your arm or your arms. But if that, I mean, do you want it to be more vertical? I guess is the better question. You know, like if you're getting too shallow and around you, I guess that's an interesting way to maybe change it. But I don't know, because I mean it's such a small. It's literally like the difference in your mobility in your wrists and your elbows. This is an 8-iron. Trying to play a little cut. answer another question. Those two were good. Look at that. Let's see. Thanks, OT100. Let's see, bro. Overkill for a night range. Yeah, Cole. You should. Where are you playing at? I mean, this is Moore Park, California. Fall Guys TV. Yes, I'm struggling with a flat backswing and would like to get to the top of my swing similar to you. Well, you kind of have to increase your shoulder mobility. You know, like if you're trying to get, because I mean, I've always used, I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you can see it. I've always used this as a 90 degree as a good rule, because then when you get to the top, technically, like, there should be a little triangle that you make, right? And I mean, you know, getting to the top, like here, also has to do with the muscles here being, you know, able to turn. So, I mean, yoga and stretching also helps with that, but, you know, also trying to match your swing to what your body can do is important, you know? Ooh, 3 for 3. It's the best angle to show these. Just like that, yeah. Tips for someone who's consistently hitting it off the heel and want to get that ball more centered. That's a good question too. All right, so if you're hitting it off the heel, I mean, the person that's just interested in keeping it simple might just say move further away, which I hope you've tried. But if you're still coming on or coming in on it, a lot of the time the reason that's happening is when you get to the top, instead of this happening, that weight shift to the left side, this is happening. And you're coming in and the club comes in and maybe you even shank a couple. So on your downswing, the next time you're having that problem, think about just matching this hip to that hip. That move will clear out your hips and make room for your hands. One more cut with the 8. Now I'm erasing the mark with balls. That's pretty cool. Alright, what is your fave weather to play around in? Probably rain, if I have the gloves and the towels. How far do you carry the 8? 163 is max. These are probably going 160. I'll be there tomorrow. That's dope. Where in Cali is that? I'm in the Temecula area. So we're west, like north and west from Temecula. Let's see your drive. It's coming, Andrew. What grips? Lambkin UTX, dude. They're tearing my hands up though. Thank you. I appreciate the tan. Yeah, no problem, man. That's what this is for. What starts your downswing? Starts the downswing. Well, before my club stops going up, like before my backswing stops, I'm trying to get into my left side, like into my left heel a little bit. Okay, so the target for this is just over the top of that, 125. All right, starts the downswing. Okay, so when I'm here, I'm already kind of moving forward. That move, can't do it really sideways, but like that. I'm feeling going into my left side before it comes down, and that's what creates the whip. Let's see if I can answer one more. Keep topping the ball. Any tip? I would pick a dimple and watch it disappear. A lot of the times the reason you're topping it is because you're looking for the ball before you hit it. And you gotta make sure you hit it. Got away with it, but the 6 has been giving me fits with the fade. There we go. You're just into my toes a little bit. Quattro. Let's see. GDC is the best. What is the best swing thought to avoid? Well, okay, that opens a good line of questioning, Maheen. Thanks for coming back, dude. Or person. Swing thoughts are more for reinforcing, thoughts that or feelings that you're working on, that you can kind of say, okay, I have one thought, or two thoughts. You don't really want, like a specific swing thought to avoid hooking the ball unless it's involved your legs, because most of the time hooking is from getting to here and then the body stops and the hands keep going, right? So technically, if I were out on the course and I was hooking the ball, I would tell myself to keep my legs going and not stop. See if we can get a little height on that. It's not turning over though. One more and then I'll answer a question. Questions. This is way far forward in my stance. I'm trying something. gosh. It's like a 7-iron. Okay. Working through. This is going to be the 5-wood. Let's see. What's up, Sean? Oh, it just skipped forward. Why bro at the driving range 5 minutes from my house? Because we're working on the game. Jimmy, I did a lesson for 140. My follow through, I ended up chopping the ball. I can't ever get under it. Well, you didn't do a lesson with me, bud. Yeah, I mean, try keeping your chest over the ball a little longer. Well, guys, he's not looking to chat. Well, I'm trying to, man. I'm trying to hit the ball and look at the chat. So, how to settle the nerves when playing good? That's a good question, Waylon. All right, so let's say you got a good round going and it starts eating at you, right? What normally do you start doing when that happens? Because you're counting up your score and you're counting up how good you're doing compared to the last time. That's what you're not supposed to do. You're just supposed to let the universe unfold as it should. And release yourself from expectations and what you think you should get out of something, you know? You just go and perform the process and focus on the process. A little drop kicky. But that's what woods are for. So yeah, I mean, it's gonna happen. Where you put it together and, you know, you haven't been there in a while. You have to figure out a way to kind of tell yourself, like, there's no real difference between that day and the next, because all you're doing is hitting golf shots. As soon as you divorce yourself from the score and just worry about the process of hitting the ball and enjoy that, that's when you start playing well. Tips on hitting stingers and getting higher ball flight. Edson, you want best of both worlds, huh? All right, sir. Stingers and higher ball flight. Okay, so both of those are related to attack angle. You know, like how steep you come down at the ball or how shallow. So if I'm trying to even just hit a stinger with the driver, you know, I'm going to be a lot more wide, and I'm probably not going to get too handsy. I'm going to let the club stay and try and maybe hold it off a little bit if I'm hitting something low. If I'm hitting high, I'm going to get into my left side even earlier, and that's going to increase the attack angle, or depending on how you look at it, it's going to sharpen the attack angle. So it's really how you come into the ball. If you can see it. There's kind of a lot of dead soldiers on there. Why does my 3-wood go 240 and my driver goes 230? Okay, that's a good question. Sorry I skipped a bunch, guys. It just jumps forward. But don't, keep asking the questions. I'm going to try and go through them later and maybe do like a video where I answer them. So I'm going to answer that one. Why does my 3-wood go 240? All right. So a lot of the time you can be adding loft with a longer club. So the 3-wood might fit where you're timing your release, which might even be early, like here. And it's like, what you want to make sure is that you're hitting the ball the same way with both clubs, where you're trying to hold this angle for as long as you can and then release it, and it times up the face, the right way. But if you're not, if you're leaking power with your driver, which can happen in a lot of ways, which, might be you scooping it, trying to lift it, but without seeing it, that's all I can really add. Where are you located? That place looks sick. It's Moore Park, California. Move it back a little bit. Yeah, sorry. What do you do with your wrists? And tips on slicing. Okay, that's a good question. So, a lot of people say that my wrists are cupped or not bowed. The trend is to be bowed, right? So my wrists technically are a little bit this way, and that's covering up an injury from a long time ago where I tore like a bunch of stuff in my wrists. But that being said, I try not to do anything with my wrists. Like, I'm not trying to manipulate them. What I'm doing is I get to about here and the rest is turn. And if a little bit of that happens, that's okay, because technically I'm going to relax it again on the way down. It's just kind of how my hands work. All I really feel is when the club stops at the top, but it doesn't really, stop fully. It's just me putting the brakes on. So slicing is this, yeah? It's you, this, or that. Work on some drills with a 7-iron where you stagger your feet. You can make it harder by putting your foot out here, or start with it right here where you're just focusing on hitting the ball and finishing on your left side. Slicing happens from not transferring your weight and just throwing your club at the ball. Slippage. I was so confident with that fresh glove. I really gave it a what for swing. Let's see. I'm going back. Can you show a stinger versus regular ball flight? Sure. Alright, driver stinger. guess now, regular ball flight. Just got stuck on that back foot. That stinger swing. One more. Focus. Whoa. I think I made that ball bleed. Let's see. You in Moore Park? Yeah. That's why you watch Freddie Couplers. Yeah, man. Night golf. I don't know. I mean, this is the best I can do. I know there's one in Anaheim. My 3-woods, great. Driver, terrible. Should I test matching shafts with my 3-wood for contact point? I don't know so much about that, dude. I would not. I mean, okay. I just did I matched my shaft in my 5-wood to my 3-wood. So like these two shafts are the same now. So I understand the reasoning, but technically, because one is a little shorter and the weight is different, it feels like they're two different shafts almost. I know you don't want to hear that, but you know, technically you can try it, but I would definitely take into consideration that the kick point's going to change, especially with a driver, because it's heavier. So if your fitter knows and can adjust for weight, then maybe, you know, like, but that's a tough one. I don't really know so much about the fittings. I have a guy though. This is my P wedge. I'm just gonna be doing some chest to chest swings with my P wedge. Ron, get out of here, dude. Ron's in here just to throw shade, guys. Don't listen to him. How do I compress the ball more? Because I don't feel like I spin the ball at all. Okay, here we go. That's a good one. So compressing, right? Technically, a lot of people, and the guy I was just talking to about adding loft, right? When you're trying to scoop it, you're not actually squishing that ball, right? So when you watch somebody hit it in slow motion, it actually looks like they're dragging it like this, right? Not like that. I mean, I hit it, and immediately after, that right hand comes around. But technically what you're trying to do is use the same muscles that you would use to stop the club. So a good drill, I mean, I don't know if I would use pitching wedge, but maybe like 9-iron or 8-iron is to actually feel like you take it back and try and stop it as close after hitting the ball as you can. And I know that sounds weird, and a lot of you might chunk it, but that means you need to get onto your left side. But if you try and take it back and stop it, it's a great way to get good compression and get the club through the ball. Don't focus on accuracy too much. It's just about that feel with what's happening with your body in combination with your hands and your arms to get that done. Because when I'm hitting it like that, I don't feel it in my hands at all. I feel it here. I feel like when I get here, I'm boom, and using the core to stop it. So it's really more about transferring the responsibility of the golf swing over to the big muscles, like your chest and your core and your legs, and the arms are just kind of along for the ride. And these chest-to-chest swings that I practice are a good example of that, where it's like I'm just kind of trying to focus on what happens from right here to right here. Like, I'm not so worried about this or this. I'm just trying to make good contact down at the ball. Ron, you can't say anything about that, dude. These are, great little tips. So don't throw shade. Yeah. Let's move to the siete. Any tips? Keep the driver inside my hands on the downswing. Keep the driver inside my hands. Driver inside. Okay, so that means that you're throwing it out, like that's happening? Okay, so what you need to feel when I turn, and I mean, I'm not saying that you feel this, but when I turn, I feel this stretch right here. Right? And it's kind of like a rubber band. So when I feel that stretch, technically, when it's about stretched out, that same place that I feel the stretch is where I start my weight transfer into that left side. It isn't this. It isn't hands. So technically, if everyone watching right now were to take the club back and do this, I wouldn't have to teach anybody. It's literally turning and just putting your weight on your left foot. And I know I'm trying to oversimplify it, but a lot of the times people are swinging the club at the ball like it's an axe. And technically, if you're swinging it like it's an axe and you're just throwing hands, that's going to hurt so bad. So you want to get your body behind it. And I mean, even in like slow motion, it looks more like you're almost trying to stand on the club, like balance on the club, like stand over it, not lift it up, And I know that's the inclination, but the club is already designed where it's like if you hit down on it with that like stopping drill, it wants to go up. It wants to, real bad, so bad. So let it go to its home. How are you guys feeling about that? Who's like really upset or stoked about Happy Gilmore 2? Let me see. Left my bag on the curb in 2002 and never looked back. Joel, you sound like a curmudge. Sorry, bud. Alex, swear to God, this is my late night Bob Ross show, dude. Hey, I'll take that all day. I can only hit stingers. Driver and irons. Is my setup wrong? Edson, a lot of people in this chat would love to be you, dude. All I get is hit stingers. Okay, so if you're hitting stingers, right? And just coming down straight on it. Technically, what you're trying to achieve, Edson, is a longer time at the bottom of your swing where this is straight, right? If your swing kind of comes up fast and comes back up fast, you're only giving the club a chance, like this much chance to square. So the next time you go to the range or you hit the course, practice feeling wide. Practice feeling like the first move is you taking the club back into the catcher's mitt. Not like, but back into the catcher's mitt. And then a nice little turn where your hands are far away from your chest. That width is going to make it hard for you to come down straight on the ball. Oh, great swing. I should have reset. I need to get that out of my mouth really quick. Hold on. Okay. Where were we? How do I compress the ball more? Because I don't feel like this. Yeah. Oh, I think I got that. How to stop hooking. All right. How to stop hooking is probably, I already talked about it a little bit, but hooking happens typically from closing that face down because the hands go and the body stops. So technically, the next time that you're hitting balls, feel like your body keeps going and doesn't stop. Usually that happens on first tees a lot because people get nervous and then they get tense and then their muscles kind of get tense and you don't notice it. But the driving range swings that were all loose and free now look like because you're tense. So that go to your happy place stuff, that's real. You got to get out there and you're in a little bubble and I'm in my safe place. Nothing's going to happen here. And then if something does, you deal with it. Best you can. Oh, come on, glove. You gotta work with me too here. All right, one more cut with the 7, and then we'll go to the 5. I said one more cut with the 7 and then we'll go to the 5. Video glitched. Alright. That'll work. Okay. 5 iron. 5 iron. See. Nick Stick. Thanks, Nick Stick. Thanks, Sishay. Ron. You quiet. You quiet, Ron. How do I compress the ball? Am I reading the same ones again? Or are you guys just reposting them? I have a diligent following. What is the A wedge versus P wedge? Alright. Tim, that's a gap wedge. Depending on the manufacturer, an A wedge will be anywhere from 50 to 52 degrees. Pitching wedge will be anywhere from 45 to 49 degrees. I'm just totally guessing because I'm not a manufacturer. So 5 iron, chest to chest. I kind of let it go. I let it go, but I didn't turn it over. Come on, dude. Okay, there's the makeup. That's cool. Makeups are fun. There we go. Gosh, that was nice. 2 to make it true. The coyote's got something in the distance. Alright. A few stingers with the 4-iron. Let's see. What irons you got? Playing the T100S Titleist irons. SM9 and SM10 wedges. Not too much cut there, huh? Yeah, I mean, I kind of struggle with the long irons, really wanting to turn over to the left. I have to almost move them like 10 yards if I want like a cut, which that's what we're out here working on. How to hit straight. I always slice. Yeah, you got to get your weight transferred better. Some good drills I pointed out earlier. Here, hold on 1 second. When should somebody get new clubs and what ones? Hold on. Alright, so the drill for the slicing I'll do really quick. Alright, so you want to take like a 7-iron, like a mid-iron, and stagger your feet. You can control how difficult it is by, you know, this being easy and this being hard. What you're trying to do here is just take it back here. And I know, guys, I talk about this drill a lot, but I do it. And all I'm trying to do is finish on my left side. I'm not trying to hit it very hard. I'm just trying to finish on my left side. And that'll get you used to hitting balls like this as opposed to like this. Should help with slicing. Because if you can hit it straight from that position, you should be able to square the club in a full swing as well. Let's see, what was the other one? What new clubs should you get? You got to do your research based on, you know, how much you play. Should indicate how, you know, much you spend, pretty much. I would start with play it again or something used. How to gain distance with a 5-iron. You got to work on contact. Just hitting it in the center is always going to work. Let's see. It just jumped forward, guys. Any tips to keep the right elbow tucked in? Oh, okay. Well, the tendency to throw that arm out isn't from like letting this come out. It's from getting your hands involved. But if you want to feel something to get that elbow in position, feel like your back is to the ball longer, because it'll be hard to throw your hands out from that position if you have to let your hands drop and then come around you. So feel like you're away from the target a little bit longer. Let's see. Range looks so sick. Yeah, Moore Park, California. Can we get a bag tour? Towards the end, I'll do a bag tour when they shut the lights off. Putting and shipping, 150 yards in and in is where most shots are gained. This is true, Bob. Bob's a guy that knows his stuff. What's the push fix? Okay, any tips on trying to get higher ball flight and push fix? Okay. Push fix. So the push, It happens to me all the time because I used to hit push draws, like throw it out there and it comes back. Technically, for me, the reason I was pushing it, like how I could get it to push, was going across the line a little bit at the top. So you almost want to feel like, you know, the exaggerated move would be almost feeling like you're going around yourself down here and not so much this, you know, like trying to keep it where it's pointed, even shortening your swing a little bit just to feel like, you know, what do you need? How much time do you need to get back around the ball? You know, because the push is leaving it, you know, face open, and technically on an in-out path, it's just the club face is open. So you could close the club face just a smidge and there you have a draw, but if it turns into a hook, don't blame me. All right, a couple of stingers with the 4-iron here. Okay. And now move it the other way. And see, I just can't put the ball forward enough to move it that way. If it needs to move right to left, I can hook it like almost boomerang, but the other way. It's pretty good for me. Like straight balls I'll take. Alright, haven't hit the 3 wood yet. Where is she? Three wood. Does the difficulty of the club give you more feel and spin, for an example? I mean, what was the other part of this? If you're talking about like performance irons versus like improvement irons, technically to be able to realize the benefits of like an expert club, you need to be able to know what to do with it. Like, what does hitting it off the heel do, and what does hitting it off the toe do? And it makes a difference. So technically, even though like maybe your buddies might be better than you and playing more performance and player irons, if you're just starting out, you need to take advantage of the technology they have for beginners, because it's pretty good. Really got through that one. I mean, honestly, if I could work improvement irons like left or right, I'd play them. I don't care. Technically, what I have is a performance or an improvement iron compared to blades. All right. There's the makeup. All right. Fairway is the 125 and the 225. No more messing around. What happens when you pay attention? Oh man, I hope I can show you this one. No, yeah, look at that. What time is it? Is it almost time? 9:50. Ah. Alright, cool, man. Yeah. Dude, I did a terrible job of this. Good? Alright. Feel bad. Just making other people come pick them up. I don't throw golf balls very well. I hit them okay. I hit them all right. Whew. Yeah, this shaft was the best thing to ever happen to my 3-wood. The Graphite Design Tour AD XC8. That's not like go get it. It's just, you know, for me. All right. What's your warm-up range session like prior to a round? That's a good question, dude. All right, so if I go play somewhere that I've never played before, typically I'll hit about 20 or 30 balls on the range. Not a lot, because technically my warm-up before I hit balls is more strenuous than the hitting balls. Like, I do, you know, some stretches, and I do this for about 20 minutes, like different types of stretches that get my, you know, knees and joints ready to go, because I'm 41. Technically, once that warm-up's done, like, I'm almost ready to hit balls on the course, you know. Like, I start with small swings, and I kind of work like ladder drills, where it's like just something nice and easy, get the tempo down. I might hit as my last shot on a range the first shot I want to hit, but it doesn't have to happen, you know. Like, you can rehearse that out on the first tee too. Get on it. Whew. Just clanging them off the pin. Come on. Alright. I turned 17 3 days ago and got new golf clubs. As a new golfer, what are the things I can do to improve? 3 days ago. Alright. Well, if it were me and I just started and I had to kind of design my own education, I would remember to have fun, dude. Play shots. Learn how to play shots. Learn the limitations of your clubs. You know, when somebody says this is a pitching wedge, hit a 7-iron. See what happens. If it goes over the green, cool. Now you know how far you hit a 7-iron. Mark that distance down. Take notes. Figure out how far you hit a club one year and then how far you hit it the next. I found a yardage chart from me from 2020, and I was hitting a 6-iron 172 yards, and that was 5 years ago. Now I hit a 6-iron 189 yards. I might have to adjust. I'm bouncing it off the sign. Look at it. Oh, I got a puzzle to solve here. Uh-oh, solving puzzles. They could kick me out. Okay, solve the puzzle. Look at that. Take that all day. Let's see. These shots would be hole-in-ones on the toughest par 3, easy. Maybe. But I like your name, Jimmy, and I like your style. Top of the face to you. Wow, that's a perfect swing. Thanks, Cody. We're still working on it. Bob, it's a good range. Oh, yeah. I'll do that, Brody. I'm going to do it. You just typed in what's the push fix again, bro. I gave it to you already. It's not fair. Alright, bag tour. Put them all in here. Alright, taking the orange whip out for safety. Because it's in the way. Alright, bag tour. Here we go. I tried to do this, I think, last week, and I got shut down, so. Alright. 60 and the 56. The 60 is an SM10. Let's try and get it in front of the camera. 60 is an SM10 with S400. Let's focus. S400 shaft in that, and the 56 as well. 56 has some Arizona still left on her, which, you know, battle scars. The gap wedge, and gosh, I'm terrible at this. The gap wedge and the pitching wedge are both SM9s, and they both have X100 shafts in them. Can you see that? Yeah. I used to have X100s in my whole irons, bag, and then when I changed the irons, I kept them in my pitching and my gap wedge because it just feels right. Irons are Titleist T100S's, and shafts in there are the steel fiber 110 CWS. I don't need the X in those. It'd be fun to hit them though. Shafts don't change through to the 4-iron. So 5 wood is a GT3 18 degree with the graphite design XC8 X Flex inner. And I think this is actually the length of a standard 3 wood. So then I can kind of have a little bit more versatility with it, and I can choke up to make it a 5 wood, choke up or choke down to make it more of a 3 wood with a 5 wood head. TSR 3 wood, the old whiskey bump on the toe. I didn't do that, but I like it. I like that it has that same shaft, a little longer, or technically the same length, now that I think about it. I just always choke up a little bit with the 5. And then the driver, we got the GT3 8 degree and the H1 setting on the weights with Fujikura 7X TR Velocore, all of that. And that, I think, is cut down a little bit, make it a little stiffer at that weight. And then the putta is the TaylorMade TM47. Bet you don't know about it. Yeah. Single bend, single line, private reserve stash. You can't find them, don't look for it. No. Just joking. Alright guys, I think it's time. They shut me off, so gotta go now. I send the balls to the deep, and they're locking up the parking lot, so it's time to clear out. Yeah, I'm taking off, dude. Have a good night, man. I always feel bad making him stay too late on my behalf, so I'm not gonna do it tonight. Alright guys, thank you for coming out. I hope you had as much fun as I did. Been doing this Mondays and Thursdays with the occasional one-off here and there, but best way to keep abreast of the new ones is to follow up. So follow up, follow it time. Alright guys, would you say it's worth getting fit? Yes. In this case, the club certainly carried the player. Look at this guy. What a terrible thing to say at the end of it. I hope that was meant with good intentions. I'm going to take it that way, Akash. Thank you. Drive safe, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks again.